Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another crypto video, and today we're gonna be talking about XRP. So if you're an XRP holder, make sure you press that like button because today I am answering one of the questions that I get ridiculously many times a day. I would say that by far the most asked question on my channel is, can XRP hit $10? Can XRP hit $100? Can XRP hit $589? Can XRP hit $10,000? Whatever. Price predictions, price predictions, price predictions. And honestly, I love it. I love the idea that people are busy with how high this crypto can go. Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much if you're in it for technology, but technology, I mean, we're here about gains, right? So it's always good to ask yourself, how high can this cryptocurrency that I'm putting my money into really go realistically? Let's make one thing clear. Ripple and XRP are two separate things, right? Ripple is a private company in the US. XRP is a cryptocurrency. Let's also make one thing clear. I'm not a financial advisor. Everything we're going to be talking about in this video is purely for fun, entertainment, whatever you want to take out of it, except for financial advice. And also, a little disclaimer, this is kind of the same story I tell my friends. I'm very careful with giving my friends advice. I usually kind of give the suggestion of, hey, look into this, or hey, check this out, because these guys are seasoned investors as well, and so having the same facts that I do, I kind of hope that they come to the same conclusion, the same analysis, and then also decide to invest. And it's mostly people that are too ignorant or feel too high up that don't really take the time to look into these new opportunities, and that's usually also why they kind of lack over longer periods of time. They stay with investments that are too safe very often, which do well, but not as exceedingly well as a lot of the choices that we make. Now, what I mean with that is XRP is a crypto that, to my own knowledge, has done pretty well over the last decade or so. It's actually a pretty old crypto as well. And if you look at the numbers, it's pretty high up there for the fact that it's being sued by the SEC. So for anybody that does not know, Ripple, one of the companies that's primarily behind XRP, again, Ripple and XRP are not the same thing. It's a private company, but they do a lot for XRP and the XRP ecosystem, has actually gotten sued by the SEC December 22nd of 2020 regarding XRP being a security, the status, the whole debacle. Now that lawsuit has been basically figured out over the last couple of years, and well, we're getting closer and closer to the end. Right now we're in the summary judgment phase, basically nearing the end, and over the last couple of weeks, you most likely have seen the XRP price pump. In my own belief, that is purely because it looks as if Ripple is going to win this lawsuit and XRP is going to be officially classified as a non-security in the US as the first ever crypto. I mean, the status of Bitcoin we could debate because the SEC has been kind of difficult about that one. I'm not even sure if I can say SEC or now CFTC. Ethereum is highly debatable. Too many questions about that. Let's not even discuss it. But for the rest, no other cryptocurrency that I know of has been properly given the thumbs up in the US. So with Ripple winning the lawsuit or XRP being classified as a non-security, they could basically be the first. And also, if Ripple does end up winning, this legal precedent is going to set the tone for a lot of other crypto lawsuits in the near future. If you guys remember, Coinbase, one of their ex-employees, got sued for basically violating some insider trading laws and some maybe like wire fraud or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what he got charged for on the secondaries, but also for basically handling insecurities 9 times. So there were 9 different cryptos that Coinbase had on there that were securities that he basically insider traded. So it's like a little stacking of problems that he got because of that. Now, and there comes the interesting thing, if Ripple does end up winning and XRP is classified as good, a lot of these other lawsuits could become a lot easier, or a lot of these accusations by the SEC can now not be as properly backed up. Because what we've seen is that the SEC is going on a rampage of stating just inaccuracies, or going and crossing the line with all their accusations. It's crazy, really. I've made at least 1,000 XRP videos in the last couple of years, and a lot of those are about this lawsuit. We followed every single part of it. And I can tell you wholeheartedly right now, with fully like this, I could tell you right now that this lawsuit makes not that much sense from the way in which the SEC is depicting it. Just in 2018, for example, Gartley House is sitting there with the SEC saying, hey, we're in purgatory. We don't really know what to do here. You're not giving us the clarity that we hope for. And the SEC is like, yeah, cool story. Yeah. Never once did they cease and desist. Never once did they go after him, basically, until 2020. Well, you got to remember, XRP's been around for, let's say, 8 years or so before that time. It's really crazy if you start to think about it. And I can go on a tangent about why the SEC lawsuit is so unfair. John Dean is going on about this. The Chamber of Digital Commerce has now even stepped in to kind of come on about it. A lot of the SEC's experts in this lawsuit are now even disagreeing with the SEC. It just looks as if victory is almost certain for Ripple's side. It is not certain, let's make that clear, never 100%, but it looks. And that's primarily why people are going crazy for XRP. Now, just based upon that though, I think, and I said that before, that we could easily see, I said at the time, about an 50x from the low point. The low point was 17 cents. So basically saying, I think if this lawsuit fixes itself in a bullish period, which now it's not, I expected it to go to at least $8.50 or something of this sort. Basically, the all-time high for XRP lies somewhere around $3.50. I think that XRP, since it didn't cross its all-time high in the last bull run, because of this lawsuit most likely, because of all this negative pressure, that is most likely going to regain a lot of that lost value the moment that it settles. So that's like a little, let's say, rush towards all-time high. It's going to be, let's say, about an 8x or so. You know, towards $3.50, $4, purely because it did not get to it the last bull run. So it needs to catch up on that. For the fact that it's the first properly regulated crypto in the US, I'm adding another like 100% multiplier. And you got to understand, a 100% multiplier from the all-time high. That basically is like, well, it should have hit all-time high before, so I think it's going to get there. But because it's the first properly regulated crypto in the US, it'll most likely double in price. However, that could take a little bit of time, because if you think about it, well, as of this point, if XRP goes on such a tangent, just goes absolutely wild, it's going to overtake Bitcoin in market cap. And I can't say that I expect that to happen. So what I'm expecting is the moment that XRP does go through and actually comes out successful, basically, that because it's going to go on such a pump, that a lot of other cryptos are going to start pumping too, specifically Bitcoin, and of course XLM, XRP's little brother. And that basically the market cap will just move up by a ton that specific day. Now, that's only one of the reasons though. So we have XRP being a properly regulated crypto in the US, the first of its kind, basically. Then we have a lot of those exchanges which decided to delist XRP over the last couple of years and months. A lot of exchanges that you guys might know and love, like Coinbase. Well, they really weren't happy with with the way in which the SEC treated XRP, even though that's also another question for another day. Coinbase did not list XRP soon. You know, they've been incorporated for a long time until they decided XRP was worthy. And they went through a rigorous process, due diligence process. So how come that their due diligence includes the SEC and it got, approved, but then afterwards, all of a sudden it got disapproved because the SEC advised them to take it off again? It's pretty vague, it's pretty strange, but digressing that, there's a couple of exchanges that kept it on, and I just think the majority of them took it off, though. People in the US have a hard time buying XRP. The moment that those exchanges allow for it again, there's going to be a ton of additional selling pressure from the US, because again, that's also the main market that, well, it got the regulatory clarity in. So it's going to be a lot of buying pressure, plus this additional announcement is going to add for another extra buying pressure and excitement. There's a couple small parts, but I think one of them is actually, again, also as a reason 3, the actual fundamentals of XRP and the XP ledger. I can kind of split it up into 2 parts. There we go. One part being the undiscovered realm of potentially the NFTs and smart contracts or things akin to that, checks. And the opposite side or other side being just the actual use case of ODL, for example, through Ripple, or any other one that gets discovered over the next couple of months, or just acting as a cross-border remittance currency or middle currency, so to speak, bridge currency. That we could go on about for another hour or two, because I've talked about this for a long time. I know a lot about it, but I'm thinking let's keep it like that. Just the XRP utility on its own, to be the middle of every single transaction that you can kind of think of, not meaning every single transaction, period, just meaning every sort of transaction that you can think of. They could be the bridge currency of that. It's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. It could be a lot of different sectors too. It could be multiple quadrillions worth of markets. But I don't want to make this video too long, but that could be huge. But yeah, it's been honestly crazy watching this lawsuit play out. Almost every single day, I notice another piece that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm going to be honest with you. Even though I was bullish on XRP before the lawsuit, right now I am way more bullish than ever before, because there's, in my opinion, a pretty easy risk to reward analysis that turns me on to thinking, well, there's almost no risk in this. Let's say they have a 75% chance of winning, which is relatively low. I think the chance is higher. And a 25% chance of losing with, let's say, if they win, the price is going to go times 3. If they lose, the price is going to go times 0. Since the expected value at that point is above 1, I take this and I buy it. And since the time scale for this is between now and most likely March 31st of next year, But again, a settlement in this lawsuit could happen any day. It's, let's say, a window of maximum about 6 months. Yeah, it's proper investment in my opinion, really. I keep telling my friends as well, the chance of Ripple succeeding and XRP being a non-security is looking better every single day. The more information that comes out, the more things are starting to look against the SEC. It is really not crazy to potentially stack up some. And more of my YouTuber friends have started to turn bullish on it, even though they've made bashing XRP videos in the past. We saw it as well that BitBoy, for example, who really wasn't an XRP bull in the past, all of a sudden became the big ambassador for XRP some point last year, I think, or maybe the year before already. I remember him not being that big on XRP before, and all of a sudden, the biggest guy out there, because he knew hating on cryptos has not really any good purpose, but more importantly, there's really big potential in this, and the community is huge. It's a very nice community, very nice people. Research has been done really, really well. And to be honest with you, the actual fundamentals are just wild. People used to call it a centralized garbage currency or banker's currency. All these accusations are now thrown at the window as time moves on as well. And only a lot of good stuff remains. So the question still stands though. Can it hit $10? Well, I wouldn't really see why not. I think it's pretty similar to asking a question of, do you think Bitcoin can hit $100,000? Really? XRP hit, let's say, $3, $4 before. Bitcoin at that point hit, let's say, $20,000. Well, Bitcoin has gone 3.5x within the next couple of years. XRP had a lawsuit, so it didn't. But since it started at, let's say, $3.50, if it also 3x's or 3.5x's, we're easily at $10. And that's only following Bitcoin's movement. Usually, altcoins exceed Bitcoin's movement. And XRP used to be the second crypto in line, in most bull runs at least. Now Ethereum was it because XRP got sued in that debacle. But there's a good chance that XRP would take over that second position again. And well, you can kind of guess for yourself if it just goes back to Ethereum's market cap, what the gains would look like. And specifically, if you think of, well, let's say it just has half of Bitcoin's market cap or so, which has happened in the past, is not that crazy. Yeah, a lot of crazy things could happen. But let's just even say it gets just a significant boost and follows Ethereum. That would already be wild. And well, most likely, people's perception of where XRP can go would drastically change over the next couple of months as this lawsuit figures itself out and Ripple looks more and more likely to win. But can it hit $100? I would say yeah, over time. In the same sense that Bitcoin can hit $1 million pretty easily over time, I personally think. If you're asking me, can it hit $10,000 and whatnot, those are regarding theories that are not really my own. I will not come out here and just go explain to people that most likely XRP will go to 10 or 50,000 bucks. That's just absolutely wild. Could it happen? Hypothetically speaking, yes. I can see some scenarios in which it would, but those scenarios are pretty unlikely, which is why I'm not encouraging anybody to believe those theories. Now, my own eventual price prediction for XRP is $100 or so. Am I basing this upon actual real numbers? No, because I don't think market cap really matters that much. It's mostly about the purchasing power of these cryptos, as I think a lot of crazy stuff is going to happen to the US dollar anyway. And since we're denominating this in the US dollar, well, your whole argument becomes kind of weak if you're basing it upon something which is fragile. Then again, to say that Bitcoin is going to become the world reserve currency, I can't say. Whether or not it's going to be the yuan or the Indian rupee, nobody really knows, but that's going to change a whole lot. And from that same perspective, what we consider to be absolutely wild a decade ago right now has become a minimum, so to speak. You know, if you asked me, let's say 9 years ago, what I thought crypto would go to, I would have said, it's just a little currency scheme that people use on the dark web. It's going to remain that way forever. If you asked me this when I started doing YouTube a lot 6 years ago, I would have still said, I'm pretty late to the party, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think Bitcoin can eventually get it to a couple $1,000s. It would be wild though. And if you ask me now, I'm like, the limit is endless. There's no limit to all this technology. It's going to keep growing, and most likely where we're going to head or be is unfathomable as of this point. In the same sense that computers the way we have them now was not fathomable 30 years ago, for example. So yeah, I'm bullish on this technology, XRP, crypto as a whole. But if you're asking me, can XRP do exceedingly well? I say there's more reasons to say yes than to say no. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I think they'll win the lawsuit. I think it's going to be amazing. But yeah, do your own research and do your own analysis, I'd say. Don't just trust me, obviously. But yeah, that was it for today's video. If you're looking to buy XRP, I got a couple of links down below with different exchanges that I personally use. You might want to check it out. And that was it for today's video. See you guys.